Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to join our webinar on E-Invoice 2025, your compliance guide. My name is Hani and I'm the accounting supervisor at Premia TNC Malaysia Webinar. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. For today's webinar, we would like to focus on a few topics which are related to the introduction of E-Invoice, key updates on the E-Invoice, latest E-Invoice implementation timeline, challenge faced by the market, benefit of using accounting software for E-Invoice, MyInvoice portal versus Autocount software, sample of an E-Invoice, preparing your company for E-Invoice, and lastly, penalty for non-compliance. Please note that in case you have any question, you may type it in the question box on the right column during the presentation. My colleagues will organize all your questions and submit them to me. Submit them now and I shall answer them later during the Q&A section. If by any chance your query is not answered, we will reply to you with our answer via email after the webinar. Now, without further delay, let's start our webinar. Let's start with a quick overview of why Malaysia is transitioning to e-invoicing. In 2023, the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia announced that e-invoicing would become mandatory for B2B, B2G, and B2C transactions. The objective is to streamline the invoicing process and move away from the paper-based system. Implementation is being rolled out in phases, beginning with Phase 1 in August 2024. We are currently in Phase 3, with Phase 4 fast approaching. This transition is not only a regulatory requirement, but also a chance for business to modernize their operation and embrace more efficient process. For those of you who may be new to this concept, let me quickly recap. An e-invoice is a digital proof of transaction between supplier and a buyer, completely eliminating paper invoice. These invoices are sent through the government portal for real-time validation and record keeping. E-invoice come in XML or JSON format and contain 55 specific data fields. Each validated e-invoice is assigned a unique identification number and include a QR code. It's important to note that all e-invoice must be digitally signed with a digital certificate issued by IRPM. If you need to reject or cancel an e-invoice, it must be done within 72 hours of issuance. Additionally, the e-invoice data is shared with the Royal Malaysia Customs Department through the MyInvoice system. Now, let's take a look at the latest update on the e-invoice system. The implementation schedule and targeted taxpayer for Phase 3, 4, and 5 have been revised. This means there are changes to both the timing and the categories of the taxpayer who will be required to comply. It is important for business to review the updated schedule to understand when their obligation begins. Business with annual revenue below 500,000 are exempt from e-invoicing requirement. This exemption is aimed at reducing the compliance burden for micro and small business. From 7 July 2025, e-invoice will be mandatory for monetary donation, with the exception of the donation made to religious institutions and organizations that are not tax approved. This ensures proper monitoring of donation while still recognizing exemption for specific entities. Effective 1st September 2025, invoice issued in currency other than Malaysia ringgit must include the applicable exchange rate. This requirement is to ensure accuracy and consistency in reporting transactions involving foreign currency. And lastly, starting 1st January 2026, any transaction above RM10,000 will no longer be allowed to use consolidated e-invoice. In other words, high-value transaction must be issued individually rather than being grouped into a consolidated invoice. This change is intended to enhance transparency and traceability for larger transactions. Now, let's review the latest e-invoice implementation timeline along with the group of taxpayers targeted in each phase. The e-invoice implementation timeline is as follows. Phase 1, 2025 to 2026. Phase 2, 2026 to 2027. Phase 3, 2027 to 2028. Phase 4, 2028 to 2029. Phase 5, 2029 to 2030. Phase 6, 2029 to 2031. Phase 7, 2029 to 2033. Phase 8, 2029 to 2034. Phase 9, 2029 to 2035. Phase 10, 2029 to 2036. Phase 11, 2029 to 2037. Phase 12, 2029 to 2038. Phase 13, 2029 to 2039. Phase 14, 2029 to 2040. Phase 15, 2029 to 2041. Phase 16, 2029 to 2042. Phase 17, 2029 to 2043. Phase 18, 2029 to 2044. Phase 19, 2029 to 2045. Phase 20, 2029 to 2046. Phase 21, 2029 to 2029. Phase 22, 2029 to 2030. Phase 23, 2029 to 2031. This table shows the updated E-Invoice implementation timeline. Each business should take note of its rollout date, which is based on revenue and phase it fall under. Right now, we are in phase 3, with phase 4 just around the corner. By July 2026, e-invoicing will be mandatory for all business. So it's important to start preparing early. The key message here is that every business, no matter the size, will eventually need to comply. And the earlier you get ready, the smoother the transition will be. To determine your e-invoice implementation date, the Inland Revenue Board refers to your 2022 audited financial statement or tax return. For sole proprietors, revenue from all business under your name will be combined. For new business that began operation between 2023 and 2025 and recorded revenue above RM 500,000, the implementation date will be 1st July 2026. If your revenue is below RM 500,000, you are exempt. However, once you exceed this threshold, compliance will be required starting from the second year after crossing it. Now, let's look at the exemption criteria for businesses. If your annual revenue is below RM 500,000, your business is generally exempt from the e-invoice requirement. However, there are certain conditions where compliance will still be mandatory. If your business has non-individual shareholders, or if you're a subsidiary of a company with annual revenue above RM 500,000, you will still be required to comply, even if your own revenue falls below the threshold. The same applies if your business has related companies or joint venture with an annual turnover exceeding RM 500,000. In short, your business falls into any of these categories, complying with e-invoicing will still be mandatory. In the next section, we will examine the key challenge faced by the market in adopting the e-invoice. While e-invoice offer many long-term benefits, businesses are also encountering a number of challenges during the transition. Compliance is one of the biggest concerns, especially when it comes to a meeting for a specific technical requirement set by the Inland Revenue Board. For many companies, moving from manual system to automated invoicing is no small task. It involves adopting new technology, integrating with existing system, and providing training to staff. Resistance to change is another common challenge. Employees who are comfortable with traditional invoicing method may be hesitant to switch to a new system. Smaller businesses in particular often face added difficulties due to limited IT infrastructure and resources. Finally, maintaining data accuracy and ensure smooth integration between old and new systems remain a significant challenge for many organizations. To overcome this challenge, many businesses are adopting accounting software solutions. This platform not only helps integrate e-invoicing into existing systems, but also ensure compliance with the regulations set by the Inland Revenue Board. Now that we have seen how accounting software can support business in managing e-invoicing, let's take a closer look at the key benefit this solution brings. Using accounting software or API provides several key benefits. First, it significantly boosts efficiency. The software integrates with your existing system, automates much of the invoicing process, and reduces the risk of human error. Second, it helps ensure compliance with the latest regulation. These solutions are designed to stay updated with changes to the e-invoicing rule, which reduce the risk of mistake and potential penalties. And finally, with dedicated technical support from software vendors, business can resolve issues quickly with confidence, ensuring that their invoicing system continues to run smoothly. Let's now explore how Autocount e-invoice platform can benefit your business. First is intelligent onboarding. The Autocount platform streamlines the onboarding process by managing tax identification number and customer information through the Get TIN function. This makes registration and setup much smoother, while ensuring that all required data is accurately captured right from the start. Second is intelligent update. With the Autocount E-Invoice platform, the system automatically updates to reflect any minor changes in the LHDN API. This eliminates the need to repeated manual upgrades, saving both time and effort while keeping your solution aligned with the latest requirement. Third is intelligent submission. In the event of downtime with the LHDN MyInvoice system, AIP continues operating 24/7. Invoices are queued and automatically retired until they are successfully validated, ensuring that none are missed during system failure. In addition, the platform allows you to monitor submission anytime, anywhere, and from any device, giving you flexibility and peace of mind. By using Autocount, business can make their e-invoicing process more efficient, reliable, and adaptable to evolving requirements. Next, let's take a closer look at the MyInvoice portal by LHDN and compare it with the Autocount accounting software so you can see how the two solutions differ. Now, let's take a look at how an e-invoice can be created using the MyInvoice portal by LHDN. MyInvoice is accessed through the MyTax portal. To begin, log in to the MyTax portal and click it on the MyInvoice tab as shown in the image. This will take you directly to the MyInvoice portal, where you can manage all your e-invoicing tasks. To create an e-invoice, start by clicking on New Document. You will then see a list of document type available. From there, simply select Invoice to begin creating your e-invoice. On this page, you have the option to update the e-invoice number or change the date before moving on to the next step. At this stage, make sure to fill in all the mandatory information for both the supplier and the buyer before proceeding. At this step, enter the service or product details as required, making sure the information is accurate before proceeding. Here, you may enter any extra details such as billing information, payment terms, or shipping instruction before moving forward. Once you have filled in all the necessary fields, carefully review the information. When you are sure it's correct, select Sign and Submit to forward the document to LHDN for validation. After you click Sign and Submit, the system will prompt you to provide your signature. Once submitted, you will receive a confirmation notification that your document has been successfully sent. Once submitted, your e-invoice will be generated and made available for viewing. Now that we have gone through the process of creating an e-invoice using the MyInvoice portal, let's take a look at how same process can be managed through the Autocount accounting software. To create an e-invoice, go to the sales section and select Invoice. From there, you can create the invoice as you normally would. The system will automatically map the selected customer to the appropriate tax entity, ensuring accuracy and compliance. Once you have verified that all information is correct, you have two options. Option A, click Save to keep the invoice as a draft, or choose to save and submit it directly to LHDN for validation. Option B, click Submit for approval to forward the invoice to your superior for review and approval before submission. As a superior, you can log into the cloud accounting using your username and password. From there, go to the invoice status drop-down and select Awaiting Approval to see the list of invoice pending review. Then, simply click View on the invoice you wish to review and approve. Once you have confirmed that all the details are accurate, simply click the Approve button to finalize the invoice. Once the invoice has been approved, It will automatically submit it for e-invoice validation. The system will then display the e-invoice status along with the submitted date and time. For further information on the validation process, you may click View Details to access the full record. You can also view your validated e-invoice directly in the MyInvoice portal. When you share an e-invoice with your customer, it comes with a QR code at the bottom right called the LHN validated link. Your customer can just scan it to instantly check that the e-invoice has been validated. Now, if we look at the MyInvoice portal, it's pretty basic. It only allows manual input and submission of invoice. On the other hand, Autocount can make things much easier. It integrates seamlessly, check everything in real time, and submit automatically, which not only saves your time, but also reduce the chance of manual error. On top of that, Autocount software includes a handy guide designed to make using the system straightforward and stress-free. The guide walks you through each step, from setting up your account to creating and submitting your e-invoice, so you won't feel lost or overwhelmed. Now, let's take a closer look at the sample e-invoice so you can see exactly how it works in practice. Here we have a sample of a receipt and invoice. As you can see, both documents include embedded QR codes, which you can scan to instantly request an e-invoice. Once you scan the QR code, you will be redirected to a page where you can fill in the required information. After submitting the form, you will receive an email confirming that your submission was successful. After that, the e-invoice will be sent directly to your email, so you will have a digital copy for your records. Moving forward, let's talk about how to prepare your company for e-invoicing and ensure a smooth transition. So, how do you prepare the e-invoice implementation? Here's a step-by-step guide to help your business get ready. First, know your rollout date. Find out when your business will need to start issuing e-invoice and plan accordingly. Second, get your system ready. Make sure your current invoicing system can handle the integration or switch to a compliant accounting software like Autocount. Third, train your team. Staff training is critical to ensure smooth adoption to the new system. Fourth, communicate with your customer. Let your customer know about the changes as they may need to adapt their process too. And lastly, start issuing the test e-invoice. Before full implementation, test the system to identify and resolve any issue early. Implementing e-invoice ahead of the mandatory deadline helps streamline your process, reduce error, and ensure smoother compliance with regulation. This proactive approach will help mitigate the risk of penalties. Premia is the official dealer for Autocount software. If you are interested to subscribe to the Autocount software or have any queries regarding the software, feel free to contact us and we will assist you accordingly. Now, I would like to shift our attention to the penalty for non-compliance. Let me highlight the consequence for failure to issue an e-invoice. Under Section 120 in bracket 1 in bracket D of the Income Tax Act 1967, failing to issue an e-invoice is an offence. Penalty range from a fine of Rm200 to Rm20,000 or imprisonment of up to 6 months or both. Our presentation has now come to an end. We hope that information we share in e-invoice to Auto5 your compliance guide has been helpful and will assist you in preparing for a smooth transition to e-invoicing. Now, let us move into the Q&A session. Let's start with the first question that we received. The first question is, what are the transmission mechanisms available to transmit e-invoice? There are two main options. First, through the MyInvoice portal provided by the IRBM, And second, via API, which allows your accounting system to submit e-invoice automatically. Now, let's move on to the next question. If my business commences operation from YA 2026 onwards, how should I determine my e-invoice implementation date? If your business meets the exemption criteria, you are required to implement e-invoicing starting from 1st January in the second year following the year of assessment in which your total annual turnover or revenue reached RM 500,000. All right, let's move on to the next question. What if I'm not registered for SST? No worries, if you are not registered for SST, e-invoicing is all about the income tax. So if you are filing tax, you are automatically included. As we approach at the end of our session, we will take one final question. How can I get more information on Autocount software? As the official dealer for Autocount, we are happy to provide you with more details. Feel free to reach out to us via email or phone for any inquiries regarding the software. We will be glad to assist you. We are at the end of our webinar. We hope that you have benefited from this webinar. Feel free to contact us if you have any question. Premia TNC headquarters is located in Hong Kong. Besides Malaysia, we also have office located in Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam, China, South Korea, India, Indonesia, and Dubai. If you are interested in knowing more about this jurisdiction, please check out our future webinar. Thank you for your time. We hope to see you again at the next webinar. Goodbye.